Pete Calandra here. This is the third in a series of videos that are companion pieces for my audio MIDI class at Queens College. My original thought was to spend the third video going through every bit here in the toolbar and giving a brief explanation of what it did. After finishing that, however, I thought that it was a little cumbersome and actually not really helpful. It's better to discuss certain things in a more contextual manner, as how you would use it while you're sequencing. What I'll do instead with this video is go through some basic things on the toolbar as a final setup. On the upper left-hand corner of the toolbar are these 4 edit modes. While we learn how to sequence MIDI, we're going to be working with the grid and with a click track. So I'd like you to enable grid mode here by clicking on it. And make sure it's blue because there is a sub mode here, a relative grid, which is purple. And I'll get into that later on, but we click on it again and just make sure it's blue. Now, over here in this area, these are edit tools. The 4 that we're going to concern ourselves with is the trim tool, the selector tool, the grabber tool, and the pencil. The trim tool is used to change the length of MIDI notes, clips, and later audio files. The selector tool is used to select an area. The grabber tool is used to grab individual events. And the pencil tool is used to draw things in. And the pencil tool has different shapes, which we'll get into at another point. Next, over here, we have our counter. Now, since we're all musicians, we're going to be working in bars and beats. So if you see this little triangle here, when you first boot up Pro Tools, it may come up in minutes and seconds. We're going to click on this and set it to bars and beats. The next thing that we're going to do is make sure that we're going to show the grid lines by turning this on here, making sure that the grid is activated. And then this here is our transport. This is for record enable, playback, stop. Those are the only 3 that you really need to know. All the way over here are some tabs to turn on wait for note recording, which we're going to use. One final thing. Let's look at our counter over here. You'll notice that there are 3 distinct sets of numbers. The first number is the number of the bar. The second number is the number of the beat. And the third number is the subdivision of the beat. All DAWs, that includes Pro Tools, Logic, Cubase, Digital Performer, subdivide the beat into sections called, or slices called, ticks. Pro Tools has a resolution of 960 ticks. A tick starts on 0 and goes to 959. That means that there are 960 digits. 0 is the first digit, right? 3 zeros, and 959 is the last digit. There are several numbers that you should memorize. The first one being 480. 480 is the length of an eighth note in ticks. If 960 is one full beat, half of that beat is 480 ticks. 480 times 2 is 960. The next numbers that you should have memorized are 240 and 720, because those are the 16th notes of the bar. So 0, 240, 480, 720. So 0 is the first 16th note of a beat. 240 is the second 16th note of a beat. 480 is the second 8th note of a beat or the third 16th note of a beat. And 720 is the fourth 16th note of a beat. So if you have something that is located at bar 1, beat 2, 480, that event is on the and of 2 of bar 1. If it is 720 here, it's the second beat of bar 1, the fourth 16th note. 2 other numbers to have in the back of your mind would be 320 and 640, because those would be 8th note triplets. But for right now, if you could just memorize 240, 480, and 720 as your 8th and 16th note subdivisions of the beat, it would be very helpful. So let me just do one more. So I'm going to go to bar 4, beat 2, and 240. That would be the 4th bar of the piece, the 2nd beat, and the 2nd 16th note. At this point, I'm going to stop the video. This is good for the 3rd video in this, and we'll pick up from here next time. So thanks for watching, and check in again for the next video.